The Borgias, power, corruption, and the fall of the Papal dynasty.
In the heart of the Renaissance, one family rose above the rest, not through nobility or virtue, but through corruption, betrayal, and blood. The Borgias, led by Rodrigo Borgia, better known as Pope Alexander VI, left a legacy of scandal that would shake the Catholic Church and all of Europe. Their story is one of power, intrigue, and the fall of one of history's most infamous dynasties.
Act 1. Rodrigo Borgia's rise to power.
The story of the Borgias begins with Rodrigo Borgia, born in Spain, and nephew to Pope Calixtus III. He was ambitious, cunning, and willing to bend any rule to rise within the Catholic Church. Appointed as a cardinal at a young age, Rodrigo spent years amassing wealth and influence. But he had his eyes set on the ultimate prize, the papacy. Rodrigo wasn't content to wait for the papacy to fall into his lap. Through bribes, manipulation, and ruthless politicking, he secured enough votes in the conclave to be elected pope in 1492. He took the name Alexander VI. But his election came at a cost, enemies were made, and the Vatican was now under the control of a man more interested in power than piety.
Act 2. The Borgia family's rise. Cesare and Lucrezia.
As pope, Rodrigo wasted no time turning the Vatican into a base of operations for the Borgia family. But to maintain and expand their power, he needed more than alliances, he needed enforcers. Enter Cesare Borgia, his son, who abandoned a career in the church to become one of the most feared military commanders of the Renaissance. Cesare was ruthless, ambitious, and willing to do anything to secure the Borgia name. With his father's backing, he embarked on military campaigns, crushing enemies and expanding Borgia influence across Italy. But his ambition would eventually alienate even those closest to him. Then there was Lucrezia Borgia, beautiful, intelligent, and used as a pawn in her father's political game. Lucrezia was married off 3 times, each marriage arranged to secure alliances for the Borgias. But rumors swirled about poison, betrayal, and the extent of her influence in the Vatican.
Act 3. The height of Borgia power. Intrigue, drama, and corruption.
At the height of their power, the Borgias were feared and hated across Europe. Rodrigo, now Pope Alexander VI, lived more like a king than a pontiff. He filled the Vatican with luxury, held grand feasts, and was known to have mistresses, even fathering more children while serving as pope. The Borgia name became synonymous with corruption. But power built on lies and betrayal is never secure. Enemies of the Borgias began to plot their downfall, from rival families like the Orsini to powerful cardinals disgusted by Rodrigo's blatant disregard for the church's principles. And yet, it wasn't just external enemies who posed a threat. Cesare's ambition grew beyond even his father's control. As he carved out his own kingdom in Italy, the alliance between father and son began to fray. Meanwhile, rumors of Lucrezia's involvement in poisoning rivals added fuel to the fire of her infamy.
Act 4. The fall of the Borgia dynasty.
The downfall of the Borgia family began slowly, like cracks forming in a dam. Pope Alexander VI's health began to decline, and with it, the grip the Borgias held over Rome. But it was a mysterious poisoning in 1503 that would be the final blow. Rodrigo Borgia, the man who had once wielded the Vatican like a sword, died under suspicious circumstances. Without Rodrigo's political cunning, Cesare's enemies closed in. His military campaigns faltered, and his health deteriorated. He was eventually imprisoned, and in a dramatic turn, died in battle, his ambitions unrealized. With Cesare's death, the Borgia dynasty's dreams of a lasting empire were shattered. But even in death, the Borgia legacy of corruption and scandal lived on. The question of whether Rodrigo had been assassinated haunted the Vatican for years, and Lucrezia's reputation as a poisoner would become the stuff of legend. The family that had once ruled the Catholic Church with an iron fist had fallen, brought down by their own greed and ambition.
Act 5. The legacy of the Borgias.
The Borgias may have fallen, but their legacy of corruption, intrigue, and drama remains one of the most infamous in history. From the heights of papal power to the depths of betrayal and murder, they left a stain on the Catholic Church that would not be forgotten. The rise and fall of the Borgia family is a cautionary tale, one of ambition unchecked, of power abused, and of a dynasty consumed by its own greed. Even today, their name evokes the very worst of Renaissance excess and corruption.
Like and subscribe now to unravel more secrets of powerful dynasties and their legacy.